On this week's Saturday edition of the Top 10, we all know that Lord of the Rings is the new kid on the block, but it continues to dominate the singles market. But this may not be the case going forward because the One Ring has been found. And with that will be a whole changing of sentiment from the players buying their cards going forward. What does that mean for the singles market? Stick around, we'll talk about it. I cannot tell you in the last 24 hours how many times I have been told the sky is falling, every magic card from Lord of the Rings is going to zero, everything's worthless, it's all over. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and yeah, we've got a little bit to talk about today, so thanks a lot for tuning into my channel. This is a top 10 video, the top 10 selling cards this week by volume, and of course this week is totally dominated by Lord of the Rings, and we'll get to that a little bit into the video, because these cards are important to know which ones are being played and which cards people think are great, and the sheer volume of cards is blowing my mind. But with the One Ring found, this is something a lot of players are trying to factor in, the X factor of what happens now with the singles market, and I think it's the wrong take. That isn't what you should be thinking about right now. Think about the playability. This was a marketing gimmick. The One Ring is a marketing gimmick to get people to buy the boxes, but the cards themselves, the cards themselves are very good. They're very playable, the mana base is very well done, and a lot of the singles cards are going to find homes inside of Modern, Played Alone, Standalone, and Lord of the Rings, as well as finding a home Legacy, Vintage, and of course Commander, the most played format right now. So when you look at the cards around you from Lord of the Rings that you may have purchased, most of these cards may not be worth tons of money, but that doesn't mean they're not playable. And when it comes to the game, playability should be the first thing we want to get into, and it's nice as a secondary factor that cards can have value and can be traded in for future purchases or as a trade-in factor to actually get some cash back out of the game, because no other game allows us to do this. You can't just trade in for money. You can't bring your Monopoly money in and trade it for real things. So a lot of players get caught up in the hype of the value of things. I myself do it all the time. To this day, I still factor that in when I'm humming and hawing over how many cards to have. But I've noticed this going forward, that players keep asking about it. We're not going to know yet what's going to happen. It is going to take quite a while to unravel this ball of yarn because we've never been here before. This is that area of the world that is unexplored. We're going to the bottom of the ocean to a place nobody has been, and we don't know what we're going to find yet, but we know it's going to be something interesting. All we can do is have conversations with our Magic the Gathering groups, people we play with, friends, and just predict what's going to happen and see who comes out right. Now, on this week's Top 10, we'll be taking a look, guys, number 10 to number 1 by volume, which cards sold the most. And yeah, the counting was pretty crazy, and I think you'll be impressed with which card comes out at number 1 this week, so let's get it started. Mirkwood Bats comes in at number 10 this week, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, with an average price of 52 cents US, market price of 29 cents US, a foil is 82 cents US, and it's 54 euro to get this card into your house. It's $1 here in Canada, and there was 2,893 sales from June 24th to the 30th of 2023. Now, a card like this, I can see would be a lot of fun for players to use it, but I don't see it hitting a mainstay for a lot of people. Just some people being quirky and trying some stuff out. A lot of fun, and of course it will be used in Lord of the Rings decks and theme decks, but we'll see how it plays in the longer run. It's not an expensive card right now. I mean, picking up 4 for $1 US, it's pretty cheap. Now, when we go ahead and take a look at number 9 this week, this is Boromir. This is Warden of the Tower Showcase version, 2,904 sales this week. With an average price of $2.49 US, the market price is $1.89 US, €3.24 to get this card into your house, and around $3.50 here in Canada. Taking a closer look at this card, it is 1 white, 2 generic for a 3/3 legendary creature, human soldier, and please remember, guys, we're all aware that soldier, tribal, and knights and stuff is really coming around, so cards like this can play a linchpin in deck construction because the card has vigilance. But it also says, whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell, which is very interesting. And then the last power, sacrifice Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn and the ring tempts you. Guys, an amazing card that is going to have a lot of playability. It doesn't have to have a high price to find a home inside of a commander deck. Number 8 this week is Delighted Halfling, and of course it's from Lord of the Rings as well. The average price is just kind of dipping a little bit this week with $17. The market price is $15.48. A foil is $19.27. €17.35 to get that card into your house, and it's around $24 here in Canada. Now, with 3,230 sales this week, it did a big jump compared to last week's sales, and it showed real strong promise because as a 1 green, 1/2 creature that can tap to add colorless to your mana pool, but also has the second power of add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a legendary spell, and that spell can't be countered, means this card is going to see play all over the place. Wizards of the Coast knew this when they designed it, and a card like this will get a reprint very quickly. Within the next 24 months, you will see this card reprinted somewhere, so keep that in mind. If it doesn't get a reprint, then they're building the IP up for this card to do a reprint later on, and they want this card to hit the $30, $40 level. Keep all that stuff trucking, guys. We don't know what's going to happen, but this card is a strong contender for future play. Now, the next card coming up today at number 7 is Orcish Bowmasters, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, with 3,643 sales this week. An average price of $34 US. The market price is $28.85. And then, of course, the foil is $36 even. This card is €27.87 to get the card into your house. And here in Canada, you're looking at around $40 Canadian, which is way too much for this card. I like the card. It's 1 black, 1 generic for a 1/1 with flash. And when Orcish Bowmasters enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card, except the first one they drew in each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmasters deals 1 damage to any target and then amass Orcs 1. This card has a lot of potential, but building cards like this also lets you know it's on a reprint hit list under a new skin faster than you can believe. So don't invest heavy money in this. Just keep it on a spreadsheet and think about the future uses a year or 2 from now. I don't think you have to have it at the moment. Now, the number 6 card this week is Minas Tirith. This card has an average price of $3 US. The market price is $2.17. The foil is $3.09. And of course, it's €4.16 to get that card into your house. Here in Canada, the card's still averaging about $5. When you take a closer look at this land, it is a legendary land. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. It can tap to add 1 white mana to your mana pool, and it has a secondary power of 1 white, 1 generic, and tap Minas Tirith, draw a card. Activate only if you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. This card again has some playability, but it is contingent on 2 other attacking creatures, so don't expect this card to be a big heavy hitting value card. It's kind of a little aside that can benefit you when you have it in play. I like the card a lot, but that little bit of a drawback of 2 attacking creatures makes it a little more difficult to always have it, going off for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the number 5 card this week, and that is Reprieve. With 4,091 sales this week, an average cost of $2.28 US. The market price is $2.05. The foil is $4.30, €1.93 to get that card into your house, and it's around $3.50 here in Canada. Now, this card says it's an instant with 1 white, 1 generic. It's an uncommon. It says return target spell to its owner's hand and then draw a card. This one is a great little kind of a stalling tactic to get a card into your hand and to slow the opponent down at least for 1 turn. Again, in Commander, this card could have some great playability factors. Let's go ahead and take a look at the number 4 card this week, and that is going to be Rivendell Borderless Edition. Now, this card had 4,612 sales this week, and when you look at the card, it has an average price of $1.49. The market price is only $1.12, a foil $2.29, and then €2.26 to get this card into your house. It's around $3 here in Canada. And when we take a look at Rivendell, it's a legendary land, it's a rare. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. It taps to add 1 blue to your mana pool, but then it also has the extra power of 1 blue, 1 generic, and tap Rivendell to scry 2. Activate only if you control a legendary creature. Unlike Minas Tirith, this one will have a little more playability because it is not contingent on attacking with multiple things. You only have to have that creature in play, and there are some lower casting cost legendary creatures that could easily be an accompaniment to this type of deck construction. I like this card a lot. I've spoken of it, so that's all we got to say on that one. It's a good card, and people recognize that. Now, the number 3 card this week is Call of the Ring with 4,921 sales this week. The average price is $7.75. The market price is $6.10. I'm going to ignore the foil price for now. You can see it's $89. It makes no sense. And then, of course, we've got €6.48 to get this card at your house, $10 here in Canada. A closer look at Call of the Ring. It's 1 black, 1 generic for an enchantment that says, at the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. A very nice, easily understood card that has a lot of potential, but I'm not going to really say if it's going to have long-term playability, because these kind of things kind of go, you know, in popularity, everyone gets excited about it, and then you have to wait and see if it actually pans out. I think it's going to kind of level off, though, guys. It may even dip a little bit. Now, the number 2 card this week is Mithril Coat Extended Art Edition with 5,102 sales this week. An average price of $8.29 US. The market price, $7.25 US. And then it's €5.83 to get this card into your house. It's around $10 here in Canada. A closer look at this card reveals that the Mithril Coat is a rare. It is a 3 casting cost generic with flash and indestructible. When Mithril Coat enters the battlefield, attach it to a legendary creature you control. Equipped creature has indestructible. This is a phenomenal card because of its flash ability, and that's what's lent itself to having a lot of value for players. When we're talking about future legendary decks, this is going to be an auto-include in many of those decks because of that flash ability. Now let's go ahead, guys. You've made it this far. Let's check out the number 1 card this week. Flowering of the White Tree again. 6,520 sales. This card has an average price of $5.22. The market price is $4.13. A foil is $5.25. €5.45 to get this card to your house. $8 here in Canada. And a closer look at the card being 2 white and, of course, a legendary enchantment rare. Legendary creatures you control get +2/+1 and have ward 1. Non-legendary creatures you control get +1/+1. I see a real theme here with this legendary take, and you can see people are buying a lot of these legendary cards that will link together to give themselves the effects they want when building a legendary commander deck. I think it's going to be phenomenal for gameplay to see what players can brew and construct with all these amazing Lord of the Rings cards. But the sales continuing onward, I think, are really going to slow down. You can take advantage of the low prices now and just see how low they're going to go. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today to the Top 10. Don't forget, tomorrow we have the Sunday edition of the Top 10 reserve list, and we'll see you guys on the live stream Sunday. It's going to be awesome. We'll talk about the One Ring, of course, and we'll have a good time. See you all tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Hey, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons on the channel, guys. What can I say? Patrons, you make it possible. You make all this worth the while. Thanks again for that support you show the channel. To all these lucky patrons out there, thanks for being there for the Moxman and family. We'll see you guys later. It's like playing Lego. Every brick just connects together, pointing to legendary. Do you see that? Pay attention to that. It's crazy stuff. Thanks for hanging out here at the end section. I'll be honest, my throat was so dry in that video. That's why I was talking so calmly and taking all the prices that way, because I was afraid I was going to have to start hacking and coughing. It's pretty smoky where I am right now. They got fire ban and stuff in there. You know, no campfires, no fireworks, nothing like that. So we got to be careful on this Canada Day long weekend and just enjoy the family and friends, cook some burgers, and have a good time. I hope you guys are having a great day yourselves. Thanks again for watching the video, and we will see you guys on the live stream. It's going to be awesome. All right, have a great weekend, guys.